Welcome to the series of homegrown webinars, how to become agentic. And today we're talking about agentic marketing team. And I'll be sharing with you who is in the room. Everyone is curious who is signing up for these webinars, what does agentic means and how I see agentic evolving. I'm talking to lots of marketing leaders and lots of marketing teams, and I uncovered 3 misconceptions about agentic and would love to see if you have the same misconceptions and can we overcome it. Then let's paint the future of agentic marketing. Let's look at AI native companies or the companies who made it to AI native and see what is possible. And then we'll look at different levels of agentic AI, how to become agentic leader. And I also will be sharing with you some case studies. So
I'm getting in.
Yeah. Dear guys, like we're using simple meetings. So if you can mute yourself, that will be a beautiful experience to everyone. So we will be looking at what is agentic, what companies are doing, how you can do it if you're a big corporate, and how you can do it if you're small scale ups, and what are the benefits. A little bit about myself. I know Claude said to me that 70% of people who are here, they are repeat webinar visitors. A lot of people also from CMO accelerators. So I hope by this time you know me. So I was a CMO, I was in corporates, then I was in a scale up, then I was fractional. So I know all 3 worlds and I know what is the challenges you face. And I started with AI very early. I was just curious about it, and I wrote a course, AI in Marketing, that is on Udemy. Got a lot of marketing people, got a lot of excitement, started getting some trainings and speaking engagement. This is how my AI journey started, very naturally. Then I had my e-commerce startup that I exited with 3 agents. The most impactful was the agent that did SEO traffic, SEO content, because I got to 30,000 customers, 30,000 users in 1 month by doing this content. And now the new founder can replicate it for other brands. And I started building agents for my marketing teams, for my fractional clients. And last year I thought, look, this will be big. Everyone is doing AI. Not a lot of people are getting into agentic growth, agentic marketing. This is where I want to focus. And currently, Applied AI Academy is growing. We're doing a lot of team trainings, but also running this agentic CMO accelerator for marketing leaders to get on a journey. And today I also have Pia, who will be moderating and supporting me in this webinar. Pia, we want to hear your story.
Yes, hi everybody. So I'm a marketeer and been working in marketing for more than 15 years now at companies like Unilever, Innocent Drinks, before moving more into the direct-to-consumer space, working at Grace Snacks, Noom, and currently at AG1 or Athletic Greens, and really got into AI at the start of the year, thinking about how can we better use AI to reduce workload, get to better outcomes, been building lots on the side. So excited to be here today. And I'll be your moderator for today. So please do say hello in the chat so we all know who's here. Also share where you are in your AI journey, some of the tools you're using, what your biggest challenge is. And as Victoria goes through any questions you have, just ask them in the chat. I'll be answering them. And after the webinar, Victoria will also share a blog post where every single question will be answered as well. And we'll pick out 2 or 3 towards the end of the webinar as well. And everything's being recorded, so you'll be getting the slides as well as the recording tomorrow if there's anything you want to check back on.
Yeah. Thank you, Pia. This is one of my biggest things. Like I love reading the questions afterwards and replying them, because I think it's so new, it's so anxious, it's moving so fast. If I have an answer, I would like to share. If not, I also have a team of coaches who can help me, because let's get all on the same pace. So who is in the room? We had 150 people registered. Normally, half of people attend, and I love that it's always huge enterprises and large organizations, but also scale ups and challenger brands. And I hope I will give answers to everyone in the room. But what is interesting is that the challenges that you guys face are the same: where to start, how to move to agents, how to get to efficiency, what are the tools, quality, and team adoption. In this webinar, I'll focus on how to move to agentic, how to get efficiency. I'll talk a little bit about tools and quality. Quality for me is the biggest topic because anyone can generate content. But as same as copywriting, anyone can write copy, but there is copywriting that converts, and there is just random lame copywriting, right? The same with output of AI. It's a skill to know how to generate high quality output. So let's look into it. And what I like always to say in my webinars, agentic journey, it's a human journey. It's filled with emotion of fatigue, overwhelmed, anxious. I can't find time to do it. I find it's very difficult to fit in my day. And I always like to say, my webinars are normally attended by marketing leaders, like all of you are head of and above. Like, think how your team feels when they hear all these rumors about AI taking their jobs and they don't know even where to start and how to go. I think that the responsibility of every leader is to A, get it themselves on the journey, and B, guide their team and company. Because the team members, the more junior team members, they feel even more lost and even more overwhelmed. And I also like to normalize these feelings. Like, I'm doing AI 24, like all my life, all I do is AI. I build agents, I train teams, I create content, but at the same time, I feel behind because the pace of change is just crazy. It's unprecedented what we see. And AI capabilities double every 7 months. Our brains are just incapable of absorbing such change. If we normalize it and focus just on one thing, on one step, and just realize that everyone feels this way, it's becoming more human and more manageable. I will start with some understanding of what is agentic and what is not agentic, and so you can compare what you're doing now and where you are in your journey, because it is a journey. You can be at the have autonomous agents and you still feel like you're behind because you don't have three agents working together. It's always there is the next level, same as in fitness. Like, there is always a better, faster way of doing it. So agentic for me is things that have a goal, and they have a brain, they can act, they have tools, and they can act beyond the things that I told AI to do. So if I tell AI, like an intern, follow these 10 steps, it's not really agentic. It's a prompt that is following my thinking. Agentic does follow my thinking, but has a goal, it has a brain, it can orchestrate and it can execute on my behind. So it can plan based on the goal. It can use different tools, also known as connectors. It has context and memory. This is really important because some agentic tools learn better than humans. They are capable of constantly iterating on feedback. They have some autonomy and they have this reasoning loop. They reason and loop until it is done. And here, what I love, because we are marketers, we all have very high standards. What is done? What is your definition of done? What is good enough? Whenever I see AI slop, I think it's a human slop because a human approved it. A human said it's good enough. Let's go with it. So your definition of done, your high standard, is transformed and it's embedded in reasoning loop. Pia said to me, I need to add an example, so I'm following. So this is an example of Claude Cowork. And as you see, I asked Claude Cowork to write me a LinkedIn newsletter that I published last week. As you can see, there is a progress bar. So if I was working at ChatGPT or Custom GPT or in chat, it will just say, here is a prompt, I applied the prompt, I generated a copy. Here it said, let's lock in a concept. Let's build a newsletter. Let's find three headlines. Let's check if Victoria's voice is here. Let's look at the Notion feedback. it got into reasoning, and sometimes this reasoning is beyond the prompt that I gave it because it takes into consideration my past feedback and everything I didn't like in the past. Also, as you can see, it pulled some relevant instructions and relevant content. It connected to Notion, and it embedded three skills, one of which is think like a CMO, is a synthetic persona. So it says, okay, this is a newsletter for CMOs. Let me use synthetic persona and see if CMOs will resonate with this content. So you can see the reasoning is much beyond my initial prompt, write a newsletter. This is what agentic means. And what it produces in my system, it produces normally a Notion page. And what is really important, the way I set up like my agentic AI and the way I like it, as you can see, my Claude comments on my reads my comments and replies to my comments and applies them. So I have this collaboration with an agent, the way I would collaborate with a copywriter. And it rewrites my comments afterwards. So these are the example of an agentic AI workflow, very small, very primitive, of writing a LinkedIn newsletter and how an agent reasons beyond the prompt that were initially given. And here I will jump into misconceptions, right? Like, and uh, and first I want to get understanding from you guys. Like, you are currently in a company, or you are fractional, your own consultant. What is currently your tools? Because tools is a top topic. Oh, every time I get like, what are the tools? Explain me the tool. Do you have, and I always like, I see these 6 segments, like normally when I talk. If you are a unique segment, please let me know. Normally people have AI assistant, such as ChatGPT or Copilot or Gemini, or maybe even Claude Chat, but they have no connectors. Just add in the chat one if it's you. Then there are companies that have Claude Cowork or Claude Code, but they have no connectors because of compliance, regulation. They're like, no way we will connect it to SharePoint or to Google Drive. There are no connectors. Then there is level 3 when there is Claude Cowork and Code, and there are connectors. Connectors, these are your tools, these are your hands. A lot of big companies are within Microsoft infrastructure where they have Copilot Studio. So you have Copilot Microsoft 365, and there is Copilot Studio. By the way, I read today an article that Microsoft has 10 AI products, 10. And recently they released Copilot Cowork, that is a merge between Copilot and Cowork. They use Anthropic's infrastructure at the background, that I thought fascinating. So Copilot Studio is huge, and quite often companies don't allow connectors, again, because they're like, oh, you have LLM, you use only LLM. And then there are companies that have NI10, that is an automation tool, and they can connect to any tool. And I also see category 6. There are companies who say you can have any tool. You can have OpenClaw, you can have Code, Cowork, Code, any tool, just build. Because these companies, normally their business models are at risk because of AI, and they're like, anything you want just to build, to play, to understand the technology, you have it. These are normally the categories, but I'm curious, maybe your company in a different category. But let's start with the foundational. ChatGPT, Copilot, Gemini, Claude Chat, they are not agentic AI. They can't give you agentic AI. They are AI assistant. They can answer you. They have some skills, some gems, some primitive tools, but they are not agentic tools. And there are a lot of companies I talk to, and they're like, look, we have just deployed ChatGPT enterprise version, and you are telling me we can't do agentic. And I'm like, these are different tools. This is AI assistant that helps you with the basic tasks, that is very useful, but it's not something that will allow you to build agentic tools. This is where misunderstanding. People sit in these tools and they look at what others are building and they're like, how, why I can't. And let me share what custom GPT, what Copilot agents, and here the naming, by the way, very confusing, right? We call agent everything and anything. Gems, they are what I call configured assistant. They have a prompt, template, and knowledge. So what they do, they say, here is what you told me, I know it. Here is your prompt template, I'll apply it. There is no planning. There is no action. There is no planning beyond your template. So custom GBT, Copilot agents, Gemini gems, they are reusable prompt templates. They don't have steps. They don't have goals. They can reach for tools. It's limited, but they don't have a loop. They don't check their work. Um, and all these companies, by the way, they also have agent building tools. Custom GBT has ChatGPT agent, has that is a basic agent building. It has Codex, that is a tool for developers. Copilot Studio, Copilot agents, they have Copilot Studio. Gemini has anti-gravity. Microsoft also has Microsoft Foundry. Forgot about this one. And Anthropic has Claude Code and Claude Cowork. Most probably haven't heard of this tool, and there is a reason for that. A lot of these tools are for engineers, and they are built for engineers and people with coding skills to leverage. So when I look at the whole market and the landscape, I like to think AI assistant, I would say difficulty of use is 1 out of 10. Really, like you can use it, you can learn it in a weekend, and your agentic capabilities is also 1 out of 10. So it's not it's not as easy to get any agentic capabilities out of there. You get only the most primitive one. Then you have pre-built agent platform, and a lot of them say we are no code, you don't need to code. And I'm like, a lot of these systems are very heavy. I don't think they are for business people. You can get more agentic capabilities, but your difficulty also increases disproportionate. Then custom automation and agent coding and open source. I think um, a technical marketing person could use them, but they will never use them at the ability an engineer can. Claude Cowork is the only agent system platform that allows business people to build. This is why it exploded. It was launched end of January, became in production properly in February. And I would say moving from AI assistant to Claude Cowork is 2 out of 10. Like you can, like anyone who figure out how to join Zoom meeting can learn Cowork. Like that is my statement. But not everyone can learn all other tools. And it gives you a lot of agentic capabilities. This is why Claude Cowork exploded. This is why companies are using it up to the level that a lot of banks and regulated companies have Anthropic contracts and are exploring Claude Cowork because of that. Good news, building an agent is becoming easier every month because all these companies understand if they don't provide an easy way to build, people will migrate. So there is a war. So Claude Cowork is unique. It has agent loop. It allows you to read files, create files in your folder, edit documents. It has this code execution. It spawns sub agents. It can do research here, scrape LinkedIn here. It does allow you a lot of connectors. And it's not something you can do in custom GBT. And the question, Agentic CMO Accelerator is run on Cowork, and people are like, oh, can we do it in Copilot? I'm like, you can, but Copilot Studio, in my eyes, it should be a marketing engineer or AI engineer who will operate it because it's not for business people. And Claude Cowork is really easy way for people to start building. So if you want tip number one, start building in Cowork and feel the power of Agentic. The second misconception that I have that, oh, connectors, why do we need it? It's technical extras. I use AI. I'm into LLM. I want to use AI. So my advice, like you trade information for productivity. You need to have information in order for AI to be productive and understand who you are. And your connectors, it what gives AI even more understanding of who you are. And you can see this is my personal account. I love sharing my personal account. And as you can see, I have lots of connectors. I connect to data for SEO. I connect to my website. I connect to my Granola, my ESP, my Notion. And all this becomes my hands. I can auto publish on my website or auto create an email from Cowork, but it also becomes sources of information. With one prompt, I can literally say, tell me how my emails are performing and what is the best job subject line. And also, as you can see, I have control to what my Every connector can do. For anyone who's concerned about security, privacy, regulation, I can always disconnect an app, I can reconnect, and I can allow it more power, or I can allow it less power. The third misconception that I hear is AI output is generic, is low quality. Our brand is so amazing, like we will never get quality on brand. I mean, we have example on Nicole. Pia is from Athletic Greens. Like everyone will say that it's a very high quality brand. High quality output is a skill. You can learn it. And it's almost like great copywriting is a skill. There is a new skill, and I call it quality control, maybe not the best name, but it's how there are mechanisms of how to get high quality. I do have a whole newsletter on that, but context engineering, brand guide rails, agent QA. You have an agent QAing the work of another agent and fixing. You have evals, you have human on the loop. Everything human does, you feed back to the agent. There are so many mechanisms, there are so many tools that allow you to generate high quality output. The issue is if you go to ChatGPT and say, write me a blog post about gut health, you will get a very generic slop. If you upload all the content you have, you create brand guide rails, you show good examples, you show don'ts, you have an agent QA, you feed the reporting from previous blog posts, you have evals, like this is where the quality increases. With all this in mind, let's look at how the future of agentic marketing will look. First caveat, no one knows, but we see where the trend is going. We see what is happening in AI native companies or companies who embrace AI. So I see agents as a new resource of your team. So currently when you're thinking about, I need to launch and scale my content, you will say, do I have an agency? Do I buy software? Do I hire people? Do I engage consultants and freelancers? In the future, and a lot of companies in the now, they ask, can I build an agent that will do it? And your agent is like a hire. It has job description, it has output, outcomes, it has interface, and it has a human manager, the person who manages it. And this mindset is quite easy to start embracing and saying, right, like what is the jobs? What are the things on my team that I can delegate to AI? And if I were to also look like where the marketing is following, I'll be sharing my analogy. I look a lot at traders and what happened with trading. Before, like 20, 30 years ago, we had so many traders and there were all these signals. They had this room full of a lot of men bidding for different equity. Now it's not this way. Like a trader is in the office. Every trader has a unique infrastructure and has a quant researcher who creates models. They are fully leveraged by technology. I feel the same will happen with marketers. Like we already quite leveraged. Like if you think 20 years ago when we had no traffic, no understanding of brand awareness survey, we had such limited information. Now we're fully digital. So in the future, we'll become fully agentic. We will have engineers who work with us, agent libraries that we manage, first party data. And I think our agentic systems will become our USP. That will be the edge. The same as now you say, I have done 3 rebrandings and I'm really cool at creating highly converting websites. In the future, I will say, I build agentic marketing systems that generated this outcome, and this is why I'm cool. So the leverage will go. And there are all these new roles emerging, and I like to think about a role that I call agentic marketing architect, is the person who rethinks workflows, builds and architects the agents, builds to its capacity, but then architects more complex system and owns brand foundation. Your brand will become even more important. Your understanding of trends, your understanding of taste and discernment, this will become even more important. This is a senior role. Most probably all CMOs will transition in this role of becoming this orchestrator of agent, because what you need to have is 2 things: agentic output to know how to generate output from agents, and deep domain expertise. There is an ethical question that I think a lot is of all junior people who are entering marketing now, how they will grow. And this is an interesting dilemma, like what will be their career choices. Um, so, and if I look at the market, like what will happen, what will grow, like the people who are agentic on the market, they are like gold. It's very difficult to find. A lot of them don't have expertise that they claim based on personal experience. So if you know how to set up and design agents, your gold, you most probably can earn 20, 50% more, and you can amplify yourself massively. Then there are this new role that we call marketing agent builder. If the first role is more strategic, they design, orchestrate, you will have more junior people who will just build. And there will be either AI marketing, GTM engineers, or AI engineers, depending on the system and complexity. You will have people who build. Then I think the specialists and experts will increase and be amplified because you need taste, you need judgment, and for that, you need mega senior people with incredible expertise. And in my eyes, everything that is human related, event, community, partnership will grow. The roles that will shrink, apart from entry level roles that we are still like all of us, like what will happen with entry level analysts everywhere, marketing, sales, consulting. But the roles that will shrink is coordination role, campaign project manager, middle managers, content marketers, generalists, because it's not really clear what is the value they're bringing in the new system. Apart from good news for these roles, if you want this role, apart from the fact if you are becoming an agent orchestrator or you're becoming an agent builder, then your value is 10x. So the role is moving from execution to orchestration. And if you think like currently you're owning your output by hiring agencies, teams, managing them. In the future, you will be doing the same, but you will manage agents doing the work. So your role is to orchestrate, design, architect, build the agents that do the work and understand what is agentic, what is human. And there is a huge discussion on what will happen with marketing team. Will it be compressed? Will a 12 people marketing team become 6 humans and 6 agents? My stance, looking at what happened with digital created a lot of efficiency, but it also marketing became much more important and it became much bigger, like marketing teams explored. So the same, my stance that it was same will happen. So the teams will continue growing, and there will be new roles that will happen. And when I think about new roles, like even for small companies, there will be roles like AI operations manager or agent leads. There will be privacy and legal liaisons. So it will be a lot of new roles that we don't know now that will appear. And also will be new roles driving adoption because driving change, it's hard. And AI enablement lead is a real role on the market now. It's a person who drives adoption, builds playbooks, and constantly teaches people because upskilling will become a life journey because of the pace of AI. There is this famous role of forward deployed AI accelerator that was in Stripe, and everyone in Silicon Valley is now hiring. So it's AI engineers who is embedded in marketing team and helps them build agents. And there are multiple roles such as AI content operation or AI content lead. Sergio, who joined Applied AI Academy as an AI coach, he is an AI content lead at Fraser's Group. It's a real role. Or AI augmented creative director. So there will be a specialist roles that will also be augmented by AI. This is where we're going. So, and if you think like, okay, what are we going to build? What all these people will build? There are multiple levels on AI, on agentic AI. And when I started, I thought, oh, there are 3 levels. Well, one is agentic assistant, then there is an automation that is multiple step chain together, and then there are more proactive and autonomous agents. And this is how I saw initially agentic AI. And automation, if you think about marketing, we are so process driven. And here I have a sales example for that is applicable for B2B marketing. We always have like, oh, we have a sales meeting, we draft proposal, we create a presentation, we send proposal. There is a process that follows. This is an automation. And if you can describe every step, you can automate it. And then there is agent. An agent, as you remember, it has a goal and it has thinking that is beyond your defined steps. So in this case, for example, a sales closure agent will also think it can profile a client and decide what kind of proposal it needs to send based on the client profile. It can also suggest closing techniques. It can also update project plan based on client feedback. So you have something that interacts with your tools, your input, but also things based on more advanced thinking that a human can do. Like, for example, to profile a client and do proper research might take 1 hour to a sales agent, and it will take 5 minutes to an agentic AI. So there is a lot of benefits to using AI here. And now when I look at it and where it all evolves, after people have automation, after companies have automation and agents, they go in designing an agentic system that is human and agents executing together, workflows, feedback loops, and there is a learning that compounds. But as you can also see, it's a little bit of a journey. You do start with some agentic assistance, you move to automation, then you think about agents, and then you can design system. It's a journey where you get, and I see a lot of people who want to get to agentic system at once. But I feel like, first of all, it's a mindset shift that requires work, but also you need to get the whole team on a journey. That is the biggest challenge. And when I think about agentic system, I think about org chart, how it will transform. I think a lot about tooling. I think about interface. I shared with you my interface with Notion that I really like, collaborating with agents in Notion. Some people collaborate in Slack. Some people collaborate within email. It's like, how do I work with agents in a most natural way to me? And on operational level, we have context engineering that is becoming the top topic. How do you feed all the context that you have in organization and all the context that you have in your mind to the agent? Quality control, and how do you continuously learn? This is where the agentic system really compounds. So how do you become agentic leader? Um, I created a framework that Agentic CMO Accelerator is built on, and it helped a lot of marketers to become agentic. So first of all, you need to build. The system is just so different, and it's so refreshing to see marketing leaders getting value out of it. But if you don't build, um, you will look at this slide and you're like, what is that? Just you, there is no connection. Like, how context is important. Like, why quality? But there is no feeling and connection to the experience. When you build, you start understanding. Right, I need to have updated documents. I need to have one source of truth. I need my brand guidelines to be updated. You start understanding how it all compounds. So you build first, then you go into architecting and redesigning workflows. The whole studies have showed, like, when you start with agentic, you just take one small task, and as the cherry on top, you put AI. That is not bringing any efficiency. You will not get any ROI. The thinking is, can you re-engineer the whole process? Can you rethink how you do, knowing agentic capabilities? Then there is quality control and building the system. And on a higher level, you lead. You lead yourself, you lead your team, you lead your company. And for the step-by-step guide, because Pia also gave me feedback, like, give people some actionable insight how to move it. Just look at it and look where you are on your personal journey. You can't drive agentic in your company if you're not agentic yourself. It will be very challenging to do it. So are you in a mega prompt? Can you create a mega prompt and context that generates very high quality output? If yes, you move to level 3, you can create an assistant. Then level 4, can you connect to other tools? Then you move up. Can you chain different agents into automation? Can you get to a higher level of agents? So you move every time step by step until you're like, as soon as you have 2 free automations and multiple connectors and one agent, I tell you, high five, you're an agentic leader. And this stage you're ready to design an agentic system, you'll have enough understanding of how to glue it all together. On your company level, strategic narrative is really important. Are you experimenting with AI or do you go AI native? If you say, I want 3 experiments, that is one story. If you say, I want to be AI native in 6 months, it's an absolutely different story how you go about AI. Then you identify use cases. And in my previous webinar, I shared 5 most popular use cases for marketing. So you just identify where AI brings value. Then you create roadmap and you drive team adoption. And you might think that from all of this, the most challenging, people say to me, oh, designing agent is challenging or automation. The most challenging is team adoption. The most challenging is after you understand it, how do you get everyone on the journey? And I'll share one example of how companies get on the journey. I attended a private briefing from Intercom from Paul, who is Chief Product Officer, but also managing marketing. And interestingly enough, they were acquired by Salesforce, so they did really, really well. But I love what they said, like technology changes fast, people changes slow. The biggest issue of agentic is humans. We are not embracing and changing enough and fast to embrace what is possible. 2-year-old startup can beat an old SaaS company, and a lot of agentic and AI native startups, they are small, they're nimble, there are 20, 30 people generating millions of revenue. And what Intercom did, apart from launching Thin, that is their AI product, they got everyone on Cloud Code. So if I talk to you about chat, then there is Cowork, and Cloud Code is, I would say, 3x complexity from Cloud Cowork. They just got everyone from 1,300 employees, 1,100 got on Cloud Code. And I was just absolutely impressed. Like, how is it possible? Like, the tier 1 launch is just 8 working days. They had to rethink completely how they work. And what is also interesting in this process, they had to say goodbye to 30% of the team and hire other team members. So the companies who did it on the market, they did it in what we call a brutal way of saying either you're embracing agentic or you're not part of the company. That is who we are. And my most important question was like, how do you get marketing team to adopt Cloud Code? That I thought it's incredible. Particularly now Cloud Code is more friendly. It has beautiful UX, UI. Before it was only a terminal. It's literally a black window when you write instructions. And I thought they had the most incredible idea. They, data science, adopted first and created a lot of skills that is an agent in Cloud Code. And these skills were generating reporting. So marketing team, when they wanted a report, when before they had, I don't know, Tableau or something, now they said, no, you have these skills, you have to use skills. So marketing team starting using skills from data science daily to get the data, because you can't do marketing without data. And then when they saw the power of Cloud Code and skill, they started building, they started coming to engineers asking for help. And Paul even said they haven't done much training. So it all happened organically. So you can see on one hand, it was a stick. So you know, as a marketer, if you don't get on Agentic, you're out. On the other hand, they had a carrot because you can see how a skill can give you any data slice in much better way that any tool can give you. So people got quite hooked on Cloud Code and started using it. So you can see there is pull, there is push, and it's quite, I would say, a brutal approach to becoming AI native company. And what Paul said that I really love, if it doesn't feel terribly hard and painful, you're not pushing far enough. So they purposefully selected this strategy that paid off. Right? Like, look at the valuation and being bought by Salesforce is incredible. When in fact, if you think about Intercom as a product is dead in the age of agentic. It has no value. Here is a caveat. Agentic CMO Accelerator shows how to design a sensible adoption plan. So I don't go to such extremes because I find that it's strategic choices of a company to go so far and so fast. My approach is more human and more step by step, and thinking about feelings and emotions and supporting your team on that journey, because the journey is tough. And Intercom case study just shows this radical approach to becoming agentic and what is possible, and the approach that also paid off with the exit. I also want to think about like on a smaller case, because the majority of companies that are AI native, they're small. They're scale ups, startups, because it's much easier to drive change. It's much easier to embed agentic approach from start. So, and here is an example. Imagine you want to scale SEO traffic. So if you close your eyes, let's come back here. How would you do it nowadays? You say, okay, I need to scale SEO traffic. Maybe I hire a SEO manager, maybe I hire an agency, link building. And so you will start hiring resources. Like that will be your thing. Maybe you have a plan, or maybe you hire a consultant to create your plan. But but you can say, okay, what kind of tools do I need? What kind of agents I need? And how these agents can support my SEO manager to do more, to achieve more. And you say, let me launch a reporting agent that connects to all my tools and pulls weekly report. And by the way, you can also connect SEMrush and Ahrefs. All of these tools are now connected. So you have one-click report that is available to you. Then you say, okay, what do I do? Content planning. Why don't I have insight agent? I can also pull customer support or sales calls for the insight, and based on this data and keyword research, I do the planning. And then you can have a content production that will be research, writing, quality assurance, publishing, all done automatically with the human looking at the draft or reviewing one of the version. So in fact, instead of thinking agencies, consultants, and hiring, you think what agents can I build, where capabilities are there that I can do it, and how they will connect to my system, and what sub agents I need to make it happen. And in all this system is almost like feedback loop, and how this SEO manager will give feedback to agent is important. And I would also ask, like maybe at some point you will need to hire a very senior copywriter to give feedback on the content to improve the system. By the way, the biggest misunderstanding I hear sometimes in some CMO chats is like, I need a junior copywriter to review the agent, the AI content. I'm like, I think a junior copywriter, with all respect and love, won't be able to add a lot of extra taste and extra judgment to the agent. I did a geo project for one client, and they are in pharmaceutical area. I hired a science director to give feedback on the content, because their feedback was so valuable, spot on, and sharp, that allowed agent to improve, where more junior person might not have the same expertise to do it. So when you design this system, it might take you V1, 2, 3 to iterate and to think how these agents all work together. But isn't this the same way we're doing with marketing teams? We assemble a team, we create the way of working, maybe we write an SOP, standard operating procedure, how everyone works together. But then something is off, campaign is not on time, we fine tune. Same will happen with a team of agents. And on this note, I have some more ideas on becoming agentic marketing person. If you would like, join the Agentic CMO Accelerator. It's mega fun. It is challenging. It requires a lot of effort and time. Everyone who went for the first 3 weeks are not joyful. I'm not selling it, because change is hard. But what I say to CMOs, if you can't change yourself, how can you assume that you can drive change with your clients or with your companies? It all starts with you. You need to build, you need to architect more complex agents, you need to create roadmap and think about team adoption. It's all new emerging skills, and it's much more fun learning together rather than learning on your own. The cohort one graduated with lots of amazing brands, and now we have also cohort two on, and our team is also growing. I started company on my own. I have Nicola who joined me as a program lead. We review every program to guarantee that it's enterprise appropriate, B2B, B2C, that is agnostic and works for every company. I also have Sergio and Pia joining me. So it is a lot of fun. We have UK and US cohorts in September. It is a lot of sharing, a lot of use cases. I find the half of information, half of the learning is happening within the cohort, sharing different use cases. And if you have a team and you want also to build an agentic team, we're doing a lot of speaking, workshops, hackathons, and my favorite, a mindfulness break. Because I believe without mindfulness and embodiment, without being connected to our intuition and expertise, agents are just useless. I'm the driver of my agent. I bring my wisdom to it. How can I become a better person and connect more to myself? Our most famous workshops is use case brainstorming, agentic build, and workflow redesign. Workflow redesign and workflow architecture is becoming a skill. I even saw a job role like I need someone to redesign workflows. So it's a beautiful way to rethink how you do marketing. And I'm leaving you with some final thoughts. We're doing more webinars. Lisa and Gael, both from cohort one, will be sharing how they drove AI adoption within their teams. Lisa is at VEED, it's 150 people scale up. Gael is at Essity, a huge CPG. So we have two examples of big corporates and scale up driving adoption. And I'll be sharing also mid-July my journey with OpenClaw. Um, Applied AI Academy has Adam, that is an AI expert. She's an OpenClaw agent. She very much messed up with cohort one. Cohort one didn't notice, but she was really, really noticed. So I had to rewrite it. So I'm learning a lot about how to set up autonomous agent, how to train, how every word I say to it matters, how I'm rewriting it. So if you want to hear about that journey, please join. And my message to you, like, you start with yourself. Becoming agentic allows you to 10x yourself. In terms of your personal productivity, what you can do with your time, it's incredible. Then you can 10x your team. You can't do it vice versa. Like, I feel like some of us as marketers, we got used to hire an expert and he will explain us how to do it. That will not work. You will have, even if you hire an expert, you will have to rewrite your mind, rewrite your habits and how you do things. And yeah, walk the talk. Leaders go first. Like, I really love this chart that there is an AI struggle. The learning is deep. It pushes you to rewrite all your habits, from not typing and voice dictation to how you write emails, how do you ingest information. It is a huge rewriting of ways of working. So walk the talk. Like, if you can't guide your team on that journey, it's very difficult for you and it's very uncomfortable. One of why I launched Agentic CMO Accelerator is because a lot of my CMO friends said to me, I feel like I need to guide my team, but I don't know how. Uh, I don't know. Show me, how did you do it? Like, what is the journey? It's very anxious and overwhelming for a leader when the board says you have to go agentic. Your team expects from you an answer. The founder looks at you and you don't know where to go. Like, you need to start the journey and also understand that it will be challenging. The first months, I think, it's the most challenging. Rethink your workflow and org chart. Don't just put cherry on top. It won't work. You will not get ROI. You'll get disappointed. Think about the whole workflow redesign. Rethink the work completely. AI can do so much operational work, and you will be creative, playing, nurturing your intuition, and having fun. And on that note, I'll say thank you. And maybe I'll mention something. So, guys, no one figured it out. There is no company, even the best influencer I follow, they all like, I'm anxious, I don't know, I'm trying this, it's working, I'm trying it. No one. And that is also, I find is very powerful message for you to know that you can codify your expertise and design it your way. You learn how I don't know, HubSpot did it, how Intercom did it, how Pia does it in Athletic Greens. And then you say, what is my way? Because I'm unique. And on this note, by the way, there are a lot of off-the-shelf tools that people can buy. Like, I just don't think they will work because your marketing, your expertise is unique. Your way of doing things is unique. And then you can adjust this system to every client or every employee you have because they will have their own North Star, their own way of doing things. On that note, Pia, I'm doing really good on time. Tell me the top questions. Thank you for everyone. I'll read all the messages. I have the messages.
Yes, there was one interesting question, and you just started to talk about it, how to decide what to build in-house and where to use tools like, for example, Dojo for speed and yeah, using that external expertise.
So, dear marketers, just a reminder, a tool is secondary to the use case and problem you're trying to solve, right? Like how we all think. You don't wake up in the morning and say, I need a new CMS. It's not how you think. You say, I have my website on this CMS. These are the functionalities. It doesn't work. This is what I want to do. It will generate me revenue. You always start from use cases. What is your use case? And then you say, I always start like, can ChatGPT do it? Can Cowork do it? Do I need a tool? If there is a tool that satisfies 100% of your requirement, buy a tool. You will get there faster, right? But if you don't have a tool, you build it in-house. This is one thinking. Another thinking, I would say, what is unique to you? Like, what is absolutely unique that you do in a unique way that no other company will do in your way? Like, what is your edge marketing wise or channel wise? I will say everything that is your edge, I'll build in house because that system will compound with me. This is how I will think. But otherwise, like if you ask me, I advise companies to try, and Dojo AI is a beautiful tool. If it satisfies you, amazing. But I would also think in terms of what are you trying to build? What is your 2 months roadmap? What is your vision? And if your vision to become fully agentic, most probably you will be on Cloud Code or Codex. You will build bespoke agents that will connect to the systems. Yeah.
Early on, we had a question as well, kind of even a step before thinking about, I guess, building an agentic team. When you start thinking about what use case is actually most useful for me in my business, how do you go about that kind of first big question?
Yeah. So first, if you know the technology, you know what technology can do, what it is good at, right? It's good at content writing, it's good at categorizing, synthesizing, thinking in patterns. So top five marketing use cases is reporting. Then there is research, market research, consumer insights, segmentation, jobs to be done, bringing consumer insights into what you do. Then there is content production, campaigns, product launch, feature launch, marketing campaigns, any type of campaigns. And then there is anything with personalization, lead generation. So these are the top use cases that everyone is automating. You can start with that, but you can also start with another thinking. Like you can look at your roadmap and say, on my roadmap, I have scaling geo traffic. And you say, how would I do it agentic first? Instead of going to agency, because what will happen? You go to agency, they will use agentic, but not you. But you can start thinking how you can do it this way. So either you start with top use cases, or you look at your roadmap and you look at what can be done with agentic way, and this is how you go about it. But I also I like to think about AI as almost like a constantly evolving capability. There are things that it can't do now, but it can do in 5 months or 3 months. So even if something is not possible now, I put it on my wish list and then I come back to it. But yes, um, mostly like I'm not much on productivity because I think a lot of you guys already passed the productivity. Sometimes it's useful to look at your key people, like your key talent, where they get stuck, where they lose a lot of their time, and unblock them. I remember in cohort one, I teach Epify. It's a scraper that allows to scrape. Like people get absolutely crazy realizing that you can scrape influencers on LinkedIn or Instagram that talk about particular hashtag or topic, right? Like imagine you might have an influencer manager who spends 3 hours a day doing this research manually, and you can literally do it with one prompt, and the quality will be at a different level. So, is it something that is big? No, but it might unblock your influencer manager to do much better job. So these are also like small productivity wins that you can think for the team. Also to get a buy-in, to get your team really excited about it, saying, wow, it really gave me 2 hours back a day that I can use on something high value.
And then one question you've obviously talked about in a lot of emerging roles. How do you find these people? What do you try to build in-house versus look externally?
Okay. So, guys, like there are no talent on the market. Like the message to you, you become the talent and you build the talent within your team. There are companies, and I know Ishant is on the call. Ishant helps build agents. And I advise to hire companies as a learning experience. Like the most I learned by hire AI engineers who build for me agents, and from them I learned how agent works, how it built, and also save time. You can do it. But your agentic system will be an evolving system. Think about it as a CMS, right? Like you constantly update your website, and then you might have a huge build that you need help. And you can hire someone for this huge build. But constantly updating your website, you need someone in house, right? Like you can't just constantly go to agency. So what companies do, they normally take if you have a growth lead, or you have a very technical person on your team, or you have rev ops that is technical, normally these people naturally are inclined to learn tools, and they are open to learn tools. Another thing that companies do, they take junior engineers who are engineers, and they train them on Cloud Code and NI10, and then embed them in marketing team to build. So that is another option. Uh, but sadly, like there is no talent on the market, and that is also the truth because it's evolving so fast. And also people who have the skills, they build their own tools, or they have their own consultancy. So I would think this way: grow yourself, get people. You will have champions on your team, develop and promote them to learn technical tools, particularly if they're technical. Try to get an engineer from your tech team to become this AI engineer for you, to become your build partner, and definitely hire business partners, because you will learn a lot from like people. Imagine like I did a very complex build with a person who all his life, all he does, he builds very complex meta ad uh, agents. Obviously, for him, building another meta ad creative agent was easy. And I learned so much from this process of how to do it, how not to do it. So you will learn a lot by hiring a consultant. It's not only an OPEX and CAPEX, it's also your learning budget. Okay, I think we are on time. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for active participation, everyone. I'll read all the questions, and we'll write a beautiful blog. Always curious to see what are the questions. But look, if I inspired you to build, I think Pia, you inspired everyone with your new agent. It is much easier than you think, and the power that it gives you, it's 10x. Like you will feel so much in your power. So thank you for joining. And Pia, thank you for being such a beautiful moderator. Look at all these questions you answered. Thank you.
Thanks everybody for your questions.
Yeah. Thank you. All the best. Bye. Bye. I love so many faces that and the names that I remember. I hope people also will join the next one. The next one will be incredible with Lisa and Gael, I think.
That's going to be a fun one.
Yes, I think they gave us a preview during Accelerator, but a very short one. But I would love to hear more about their stories. Okay, P, I think I will disconnect. Thank you so much for your time and energy. Take care and see you. Bye,
Bye.
everyone.